Hello everyone, NIRE here. Hope you all are doing good. Today I'm happy to announce that I'm reopening my Patreon. It's an idea that I've been wanting to do for so long, and I've tried it a few times in the past, but now that I'm done with uni and I'm officially unemployed, that means that I have a lot of time to do music, and I thought this is the right time to do a Patreon. So yeah, there's still like the previous track breakdowns that I've done in the past for like all tracks of mine, but this is gonna be like the first one from like the new era, you know. So today I'm gonna do a track breakdown for In Touch, which is the second single from my upcoming album ALIASING that comes out later this year. So yeah, yo, what's going on, NIRE Nation? NIRE here. Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you so much for joining the Patreon. I've been wanting to do this Patreon thing for so long, and now that I'm free of uni and I'm officially unemployed, I thought it would be a really cool way to start a Patreon is by breaking down some of the tracks that I've released from the album so far. So this time I'm gonna open and guide you through the project of In Touch. And I'm gonna cover hopefully everything. So yeah, let's get it. So the original demo for In Touch is actually quite old. It is from 2023. Let me check. Indeed, so it is December 2023, and this is like the last old version of it. So it's probably earlier, but like late 2023. And the original track, like the original demo, had like a lot of the elements that you can hear in the track 3 years later. So we take like a quick peek at it. You had like the chords, like the chord progression was there, and like the synths and like the vibe and the structure. The drop was completely different. Abyss McDolchik. We go again, like the whole structure of the final track. It's here already. So you can see like a lot of the ideas inside, like In Touch, is like on the original demo, and that like the track was so strong, like the songwriting on it was so strong that trying to change it, I don't know, I just kind of feel like I nailed it back then. So the last version is literally a lot of the original demo songwriting. So this is the final project, I think, if I recall correctly. This should be the final project. So let's listen to it. So yeah, I'm just gonna play the whole thing. If you know the track, yeah. So let's check what we have here. So let's start with like the drums, which are, I think, a lot of them are from the like original drum stem, because something that I do usually when it comes to like reworking tracks, advancing tracks and stuff, I usually once I start feeling like I have nowhere to go with it, or like I feel like I wanna like reinvent it a bit, or like sometimes I just hit a wall with some tracks that I'm like, I'm just gonna stem them out and like work on it again with the stems, because I think if you do stems, you kind of are forced to use what you have there, and it forces you to think creatively, and it also saves you a lot of CPU because you're not working on the original project. So I think it is a good way to like force yourself to kind of develop the track if you are feeling stuck. And I also feel like I have way more control using stems. We have the intro shaker right here. We have some like it's not being used. I think this is just like a loop, like a very high-endy, like alien thing to kind of bring a bit of ear candy to the intro, because I felt like it was like the original intro felt a bit too like empty because it was mainly just the melodic elements. So for the melodic elements, we have there's this umbral loop right here. But then I kind of just pitched it and added reverb and like I think spectral gate and stuff. So yeah, we also have already the intro is already setting up like the motif for the track, which is that. I think there's some other chords around here. I think actually, does the intro have? Okay, so the intro does not have the chords anymore. I think on the second half of the intro does. Okay, yeah. So the whole track revolves around this motif, but I didn't want it to feel like get old quickly. So I kind of just did remove the chords from the beginning, so it doesn't feel like the motif is there. We have the bass line, but you don't have the chords, so then you don't get like annoyed by it after listening too much. You know, it is like showing the essence, but it's also not showing the chords. I think. So what do we have here? Also, these are like another thing that I kind of like using stems for. It is because it's like from the breakdown, and I added it on the intro because now it's easier for me to kind of add elements from other parts of the song into other sections of the songs and make it more like a whole feel like one cohesive thing instead of just like a collection of things. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, this is not on. This is Oh, so this is, I think, just some splice loops that I did. I kind of threw the intro into this like splice integration for Ableton, and it kind of shows you if you put like a section of your song, you put it here, right? And then it will show you like loops or stuff that will complement what you have already. And I think that was really cool to kind of fill up melodically the intro because it felt kind of bare bones. Here too, we have like this like transition sound, like this transition melody. Okay, so Valhalla Room is broken. Fuck me, man. Well, just imagine this has like reverb. So it might not sound as close to the original because I have this annoying bug with this. So a lot of it is like parallel. So I do like to do a lot of parallel reverb. Gives me more control. Yeah, it's this. God damn it, again. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, just for the sake of this video not being a trillion years long, I'm just gonna copy this and put it like here. So you get an idea of how this sounds like. So this is another rack that I have, which is like reverb and delay rack, but they are all in parallel. So you have the dry signal. You have the dry signal, you have the reverb signal, and you have the delay signal. All on parallel because then they don't kind of clash with each other too much. What happens is I had this issue where I didn't want to do them like on sequence because then I didn't want the delay to get reverbed or the reverb to get delayed. So I kind of just do them all like in parallel, and that gives me, first of all, gives me more control, makes it cleaner, and it also gives me more ways to kind of get a fuller result. And I think it just works better for me at least. Then we have this. God damn it again. Yeah, you can see here, right? So dry signal, and you have the reverb signal. Because this reverb is at 100%, you can see here, and then delay. It is turned off in this part, but you can see how it's cleaner than mixing it in, and I kind of just like that more. So for this, I think I made like a current preset, which should be, it is quite simple. It's literally just like a saw wave. It has like the spectral parts to kind of make them, so it is basically just a saw being softened spectrally with this, what's the word? Like algorithm. So you can see here. I think that kind of just gives a bit cooler character compared to like a normal saw. And then I think I'm doing like some vibrato. That kind of helps out, like kind of pass it to the next section. We need to let the listener know that we are moving towards a new section so it doesn't feel weird. We also have another layer here. I think it sounds bad on itself, but I think it sounds better with like in context, I guess, like harmonized with the original lead. It's not like a low pass filter. So yeah, what we have here, the sub, pretty standard. I do use this recently, infrasonic, which kind of just cuts low frequencies. Like, but I think just having it at 20, kind of cleaning up that DC offset. It is literally just nerd production stuff that I think works for me. So it just makes it like a tiny bit cleaner. So we have this, and then we have sine chords, which again I think these are from the drop, like the drop stem, you know. So like these are being in the stem. These are stem and originally being used in the drop, and I'll bring them here to kind of make the whole thing whole. And you can see that a lot in my recent production of me just stemming things out and kind of just using them throughout the track. So yeah, we have that, and then we have some effects, and this just has like a imager to make the low end a bit more less wide, more tight, and then just transition effects, and then we have ambience, which is again pads, some ambient white noise. And that's the intro. And I think, yeah, that's the intro. We have a few more like transition effects. So let's get to the build up. Okay, cool. So there's some cool things happening here. First of all, we do have the dub siren here. Where is it though? Yeah, and then this is literally again what I think I told you guys. There's no reverb. Okay, so you know what so the cool thing about this, right? Another cool thing about this is like if, for example, we took like a Valhalla reverb and we do put it like instead of putting it in parallel, we do like mix it in. You can get a similar result. But like if you go here, right, you cap 70%, you kind of lose a lot of the quality from the original sound. So I think having like the liberty and the chance to kind of just mix in the dry signal and the reverb and the delay kind of just makes it so the sound doesn't get lost in the reverb, and then you can have the sound feel like it has reverb and it doesn't lose the quality of the original sound, and that's why I do it usually, right? So if I have like this, you see how it gets lost a lot. So yeah, I think that's like a good example of why I do that. So yeah, let's continue. And we have the drop, like we do have like drop sounds in the build-up, so it doesn't come off out of nowhere for the listener. I think having this, you are letting the listener know beforehand that sounds, so then when this drop hits, it doesn't sound weird. It's almost like you're getting the sound in the subconscious of the listener before the drop, and I think that is really cool. We have the reverb plug here. And I think this is it is this, but kind of like tweaked. And again, you can see like the whole motif is playing throughout the whole song. Now we bring the chords in to kind of change things up, make it more interesting. Back. There's just here. .909 snare and shit like that, and then we go down. I think just effects, literally standard. And I think, yeah. And we get to the drop, yay!